Welcome back to Chip Chat, More Rock Radio 91.5. Jim Costa, Brad Tunney joining us on the line. Sean, Isabella, let us know a little bit about Louisiana Tech. We find out NIT berth here, Central Michigan taking on the Bulldogs. Sean, we appreciate some of your time, man.
Yep, thanks for having me on, guys.
So I guess let's just start with this. A lot of our audience has no idea really that much about your team. You got a couple scores, 15 points a game. What can you let us know, just the basic overview of your team?
Mike White, this is his fourth year. This is Louisiana Tech's third straight year to the NIT. Heartbreaking loss Friday to UAB in the semifinals. UAB went on to win the Conference USA tournament. So the Bulldogs have been knocking on the door for a while. Like I said, under Mike White, who came from Ole Miss. He was a Andy Kennedy assistant there for 7 years, came over here, and he's injected a whole lot of life into the program. And Bulldogs are flourishing. They just haven't taken that next step to the NCAA tournament. So I'll be interested to see how they respond. I just talked with Coach White about 15 minutes ago, and seemed like the team was in a pretty good spirits considering the loss Friday. They were really bummed out. I was in Birmingham, Alabama for that one, and Coach White was almost in tears at the end of the game at his post-game press conference, excuse me. So again, Ruston, Louisiana is a very tough place to play. Louisiana Tech has won 29 straight games, which I believe is the third or fourth longest active streak in the country. So Central Michigan will have a tough time playing down here because not many teams win here. Louisiana Tech's only lost like 4 or 5 games under Mike White since he got here in the last 4 years. So again, a really tough place to play, but should be a pretty interesting game Tuesday.
Yeah, we just talked about it, the advantage that you guys have down there in your home gym. I mean, what gives you guys that advantage? Do you have a lot of crowd turnout, or is it just very comfortable playing in their home gym?
Comfort level. The crowds, actually, it's interesting. They've gone up, but, I mean, other than Karl Malone and in the last 10 years, Paul Millsap, Louisiana Tech hasn't really been known for, I guess, attracting top attendance numbers to Ruston. It's a kind of a small town. School is not entirely too big, but I mean, they see 8,000 and they're lucky if they're getting 4 or 5 consistently, 4 or 5,000. So it's definitely a comfort level. The fans that do come, I will say that they do. It can get loud there, and it does get loud if fans show up. I'll be interested to see how many show up the last 3 games of the season when they won the outright Conference USA regular season championship. They had some good crowd support, but it's mainly just the guys. They have a really good feeling in that gym. I don't know if it's the rims or just playing there, sleeping in their own bed or what, but something's worked, and it's not just this year. As I mentioned, it's the last 4 years under Mike White. They're really hard to beat there.
Sean, you touched on something earlier, the emotion after losing in that conference final. Central Michigan also dealing with that as well. They fell to Buffalo in their conference final. I think a lot of this, when you don't make the big dance and maybe you thought you were going to, there's always a perception of how excited are you to be in the NIT, and I guess what is your thought on how Louisiana Tech is going to come out and play this game?
It's interesting you say that because Speedy Smith, who won the Conference USA Player of the Year award last week, he gave a pretty poignant post-game speech kind of to the media in his press conference, and basically said, you know, sometimes stuff like this happens. Maybe this wasn't our plan. Maybe it wasn't meant for us to go to the NCAA tournament, so we're going to accept this and move on and try to win the NIT. He didn't guarantee that they were going to win the tournament, but he did say that we will win the tournament. I think he was more or less saying, you know, we, the 3 seniors who are the most winningest in Louisiana Tech history with 99 wins in the last 4 years, that they want to win it for themselves and win it for the school and the fans. So I think they have the right attitude, the seniors, because they don't want to lose again. They don't want to experience that UAB loss again. Other than the 3 guys, though, there's a lot of underclassmen, a lot of freshmen, a lot of junior college transfers that I don't know if they can necessarily embrace that because they haven't been in a situation like this, but I would expect the 3 seniors to kind of force them to accept that mindset, and I would be surprised if Louisiana Tech didn't at least come out really fired up on Tuesday night.
Sean Isabella joining us. He's with the News Star down in Louisiana, covers Louisiana Tech. Central Michigan going to play the Bulldogs Tuesday night, 7:30, ESPN3 in the NIT. Sean, Central Michigan, when they've struggled this year, they've played teams that are really good on the inside. They'll play a smaller lineup. They'll shoot the three. I'm just curious, style of play, Louisiana Tech, you talked about some shot blockers. What do they do defensively? Are they a zone team, a man team? What can you tell us?
Man pressure. They got to base their defense on tips and deflections. I hate to really compare it to Virginia Commonwealth, but I guess it would be that kind of mindset in terms of attacking style of defense, trying to force a lot of turnovers and push in transition. They're not great, probably defensively in the half court as Mike White would like to be. Their press at times can be in the middle. There's a lot of open holes that can lead to 2-on-1. But in general, their bread and butter is forcing teams to play to get the ball in a full court situation up the floor, and then hope that can lead into tips and steals, and in turn transition baskets where their offense is best. They're not a great half court scoring team either. They're kind of best. They're at their best when Mike Kaiser's down low blocking shots and pushing it to Speedy Smith and scoring that way. Like I said, and as you mentioned, they do have a shot blocker in Kaiser, but other than that, they really don't have any inside game on offense. Kaiser's highly efficient numbers-wise, but that's because most of them are alley-oop dunks or tip-back dunks, and their starting power forward, quote-unquote power forward, is Eric McCree, that sophomore transfer I mentioned from Murray State, but they call him a big guard. He's 6'8", but he's more of like a small forward playing that 4, because Mike White likes to run out a 1-4 lineup with 4 guards and a big guy. So they'll interchange. Even Stapleton, the freshman I was mentioning earlier, he's at 6'6". He'll play some, I guess, the quote-unquote power forward position, but he's a swingman as well. So a lot of the offense, probably 90% of it, will come on the perimeter or the guards getting to the lane, and I would be surprised if Louisiana Tech scores at all on any type of low post move or anything that isn't on a tip back or a dunk.